Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
What an absolutely shameless human being Hillary Clinton is. My God, I mean, really, my gosh, what a disgrace. I mean, sociopathic, pathological levels of lying. No concern whatsoever for human dignity, anything like that. I got that opening up the show. Also, I've got an article. It is a very rarely do I say a must-read article because I don't make demands of anyone, but it's an article about the FBI. And is this really what the FBI wants? And it talks about some things that, you know what, I've mentioned before, but not as eloquently as this. I'm going to dig into that article. 4 screenshots from that. That's how good it is. It's in the newsletter today. A lot to talk about. Today's show brought to you by ExpressVPN. I mention them every single show. Protect your online privacy today. Get a VPN. Go to expressvpn.com/Bongino. Welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. I got that. Also, the White House freaking out over something that happened about Biden's Red Menace speech. Remember the red background? Marines in the back, you're all semi-fascist speech. Remember that? That's breaking really bad for them. We'll get to that too. Today's show brought to you by My Patriot Supply. You aware this is the time to save the most money on emergency food in years? It's true. Go now, prepare, get your emergency food at preparewithdan.com. You'll save $250 on a 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. It's the lowest price they've offered in 3 years. The sale won't last long. There are only days left. I have a bunch of this stuff because it's better to have it, not need it, than need it and not have it. Go to preparewithdan.com. Preparewithdan.com. Get $250 off each kit you need. The amazing kit gives you breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, providing over 2,000 calories a day for 3 solid months. It's specially packaged to stay fresh for up to 25 years. Act before the sale ends. You'll enjoy $250 savings per kit. Get 1 kit for every member of your family. You always need more than you think. Again, preparewithdan.com and save now. Your kits will ship fast with free shipping. Listen, this amazing sale ends in just a few days. Don't miss it. Go to preparewithdan.com and prepare yourself today. Save big on the emergency food you are going to need. That's preparewithdan.com. Preparewithdan.com. All right, Joe, let's go.
Keeping it real, baby. Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Remember that was that? That was a Chris Rock. Chris Rock, man, did some funny stuff.
He was.
Keeping it real. Yeah, he was awesome. So I don't usually start right out of the shoot with a soundbite because I like to kind of dig into the show, get everybody warmed up for what's coming. But what an absolutely shameless, vile human being Hillary Clinton is. You're talking about a woman who exchanged classified information over an unauthorized private server in violation of every known national security axiom known to humankind. This disgraceful human being sent classified info over her and then tried to bleach bit it and physically smashed hardware while trying to bleach the software. And she has the balls to go on The View and criticize Donald Trump when she doesn't even know what they found in Mar-a-Lago. Watch this disaster.
We don't have yet an understanding of what was in them. We're getting little dribs and drabs, like the nuclear posture of an ally or an adversary. But people literally die to get our government information. Mm-hmm. They go to prison. Yeah. They get exiled. It's dangerous oftentimes. And the idea that this would have been done, I hope everybody takes really seriously. It is not some casual, try to come up with some, throwaway.
It's not like an overdue library.
No.
What? This is serious. The idea that this could have been done. I can't believe it. People die trying to get our national security secrets. What? The ones you sent over a private server? This is hard to reconcile. I'm going to get to this later in the FBI piece. You got this hack. I saw her up close and personal, folks. She is a disgusting human being. She believes she is horrible to people. I can't say this enough, how genuinely awful of a person she is. Believe me, I'm not kidding. She is a genuinely awful human being. She sees people as tools to advance her own personal power. She doesn't see them as actual humans. Her lying is pathological. Point I was going to make, I'll address later in the FBI piece. She traffics in classified information on an unquestionably unauthorized personal server that is undoubtedly hacked, according to an unimpeachable source of mine who looked at it. Yet Donald Trump is alleged to have had classified documents in Mar-a-Lago under Secret Service protection behind a locked door that the FBI looked at, and you have the balls to come out and make this statement on TV? And of course, the view's like, it's not like a library book. Watch the sociopathic, pathological level of lying in this tweet by Hillary Clinton. I covered this the other day. She basically says, I can't believe you're talking about my emails. As Trump's problems continue to mount, the right is trying to make this about me again. There's even a Clinton standard. The fact is, I had 0 emails that were classified. This is unreal. That is a categorically false, thousands of times disproven statement. But why does she say it? Because we don't have a media in this country. She's just making that up. You doubt me? Go to the newsletter today, please. Bongino.com/newsletter. That FBI article will be in there. This one too. Share this with your friends on social media today from The Blaze, Chris Enlow. Jim Comey previously debunked Hillary Clinton's false claim that she had no classified docs on her private email server. You can read the freaking transcript of what Comey said. Blaze covers it. At a press conference in July of 2016, the infamous Jim Comey press conference, Comey, who, by the way, is a total Hillary hack, folks. Total Hillary hack. Jim Comey revealed that Clinton's email server had sent or received more than 100 documents that were classified at the time they were transmitted, and more than 2,000 other documents that were later classified.
Oh.
She's just making it up. And nobody calls her on it. I'll never forget this time. She got back in the car. Guy told me this story. She gets back in this Scooby-Doo van, used to call. It was a brown van she used to drive around because she wanted to appear like she was like a woman of the people. Meanwhile, she'd go stay in high-end hotels. She's totally full of totally. Woman is a disgrace to humankind. And she's at this event, and people were talking about like immigration. She was like, oh, yeah, we love illegal. She gets back in a car, and she's like complaining about illegal immigration. She's a total phony. A total fraud in every single way. She does not have a shred of human dignity. Folks, Jim Comey, by the way, in that press conference where he revealed that Hillary Clinton had mounds of classified information on that server that was hacked, according to my source. They did their best to help Hillary Clinton win. Now, I know what you're saying. Many of you listening right now are like, well, how would Jim Comey, who loves Hillary Clinton, how would Jim Comey be helping her by giving the July press conference where he said there were classified information? That doesn't help her. It makes her look guilty. Folks, he did help her. He then said at the end of that speech, if you remember, it was July 5th, 2016. He waited for the slow news cycle, right? Summer, right, before the election, but before enough that people forget about it. He put that classified stuff out there because he knew it was eventually going to get out, whether in court documents or through a leak. So just, guys, if this doesn't make sense, you got to stop me. He does it early enough before the November election in July so that the leak will have no impact. If I leak it in July, by the time November, it'll be old news. Right. MoveOn.org kind of thing, right?
Right.
He puts it out there because he knows people know. He knows it will leak, and he doesn't want it to leak before the November election. He's doing her a favor. And then he goes on. He doesn't want, by the way, any blackmail material out there or anything like that. So he's doing them a favor. What happens next? Because Loretta Lynch, the attorney general at the time, had been busted on the plane in Arizona with Bill Clinton. Who knows what the hell they were talking about? I can only guess it was probably the worst, knowing Bill Clinton. A way to make the case go away or something. I'm speculating. I wasn't on the plane, but given those two, you never know. Loretta Lynch then turns over prosecutorial power to Jim Comey, which she's not even allowed to do, and says, I'll abide by the FBI's decision to prosecute. Jim Comey, at the end of that speech, says, hey, no serious prosecutor would prosecute. Loretta Lynch goes, oh, I'm taking Comey's word for it. They were trying to help her. This is what the FBI has become. I'm going to get to this next. showing you, like, do you really want this, FBI? Do you understand the ramifications? Jim Comey and his FBI were trying to help Mrs. Clinton get elected. How did they also help? Right before the election, just days before the election, they leaked the Hillary BS about Russia ties with Trump to New York Mag. Here's the article. You can look this up. Margaret Hartman, I use this all the time because people will swear to you, the FBI didn't try to help Hillary and hurt Trump. Are you an idiot? The FBI director said no serious prosecutor would prosecute Hillary Clinton while they're trying to prosecute Trump for the same thing. What, they're not serious prosecutors either? So they helped Hillary. Don't charge her. And what did they do? No, look at the date. Look at this. We should have highlighted this. No, don't worry about it. It's my fault. November 1st, 2016. That's right before the election. He's taking a note. Are you going to highlight that? If it appears in highlights, he did it afterwards. You don't have to do that. Final October surprises reveal FBI is probing Trump's alleged Russia ties. There were no Russia ties. This was a Hillary Clinton hit story made up, leaked right before the election by likely the FBI. This is who they become. They are who you think they are. So again, is this really the FBI you want? Helping one political candidate and destroying another right before the election. I just presented to you the receipts, folks. The evidence is right there. It is undeniable evidence. Hillary Clinton is lying about classified information, and the FBI leaked information about the Russia probe right before the election. You just saw it. You just saw it. I'm convinced, by the way, that the whole Spygate Russia collusion thing is the reason behind the Mar-a-Lago raid. They want to hide the Spygate documents Trump may have to prevent you from ever understanding who the FBI really is and who they've become under Jim Comey and Christopher Wray, who candidly is just as bad. They raided Mar-a-Lago to cover up what they did for Hillary. It's a fact. And they did it to interfere in another election. It's why they waited up until right before the election in 2022, coming up in a few weeks. You don't believe me? Receipts matter. Here's left-wing rag, Rolling Stone. I mean left-wing rag. Even they're admitting it. September 7, 2022. Trump told White House team he needed to protect the Russiagate documents. Oh, he did? That's kind of an interesting tidbit, Joe. Trump told his White House team that basically there was some evidence of the plot against him, the plot that he probably wanted people to know about and the FBI didn't. Kind of weird, right? Here, it's from Rolling Stone. I won't read the whole thing, but in the final days in the White House, Trump told his advisors he needed to preserve certain Russia-related documents to keep his enemies from destroying them. You think? The documents related to the Russia probe, basically. At the end of his presidency, Trump and his team pushed to declassify the Russiagate documents. They did. That's strange, Joe, because we were told they weren't declassified. That's really weird. We were told they were there for classified documents. But even Rolling Stone now is saying Trump and his team pushed to declassify. Oh, man.
You were waiting.
Yeah, I was. You know me well. It's only been 8 years. Of course, really, you're like in my head now. According to a person with direct knowledge of the situation, another source, Trump told people working in and outside the White House he was concerned Biden's team or the deep state would shred, bury, or destroy the evidence that Trump was somehow wrong. Gee, why would that happen? Maybe because Biden was one of the lead figures in the plot to take down Mike Flynn in the incoming Trump administration. Remember the FBI's notes? Biden, Logan Act? Peter Strzok wrote that down a note. In other words, it was Biden's idea to try to nail Mike Flynn with the Logan Act, a violation never successfully charged in the history of the United States. Why do you think the Biden administration and the FBI then would be eager to make this thing go away? I don't know. Just listen to the Rolling Stone piece. Like a Rolling Stone. Just listen to them.
Yeah.
Listen, man, you're not wasting your time here. All right. One of the things I'm proudest about this show is we're not hacks for any party here. Yeah, I'm a conservative. All right. But I'm telling you right now, You violate our conservative principles and our liberty-loving principles. I'll go after either party anytime. You know that? We've done it before. But the thing I'm proudest of here is you are never wasting your time. I told you from the start this is what this Mar-a-Lago raid was about. I told you from the start the FBI is a fully now corrupt organization. The money from the FBI should be taken. It can even be expanded. I don't believe in defunding law enforcement. That entity needs to be broken up. The agents need to be screened for political bias. The good ones can be distributed to other agencies. And there needs to be a fully reinforced, powerful inspector general to oversee this stuff. The FBI is just the harm they're causing to the American public it's indescribable at this point. I do not have the words. This piece is amazing. It's by a guy I haven't heard of before. I've been holding on to it for a week. A friend of mine sent it over because I wanted to give it its due and I wanted to make sure it could fit in a news cycle. It's from September 2nd. It's on the America Free News Network. It's called, Is This the Public Image the FBI Wants? It's by John Green. Again, folks, I can't recommend in strong enough terms you read this entire piece. It's not very long. It talks about the tangible, touchable, material, on-the-ground damage being done by an FBI viewed by the public as a fully politicized entity right now. There are real costs. It's not just that a couple people are angry at the FBI. That's bad enough. You don't want people angry at the most powerful law enforcement agency in the history of planet Earth. You want them to respect them, not be mad at them. Is that a tough thing? I mean, really, is anybody not getting this on the liberal side? Let me get to my second spot because I want to roll through this. The FBI has not thought any of this through. Christopher Wray or Jim Comey. This is going to get ugly real quick. All right, today's show brought to you by Patriot Mobile. It's patriotmobile.com/Dan is the website. Millions of Americans are waking up in a country they don't recognize. Folks, a lot of companies pretend to stand with you and they don't. One company that's been with you through the fights is Patriot Mobile. They believe in the Constitution, they believe in you, and they believe in America. They're America's only Christian conservative cell phone company. They're on the front lines and have been, fighting for the sanctity of life, religious freedom, and the Second Amendment. It's why Patriot Mobile is different from every other provider out there. He has Patriot Mobile. Loves the customer service. Inflation has made it really hard on many Americans, and thankfully, Patriot Mobile has plans for almost any budget for you, your family, or your business. They offer the same nationwide coverage as the major carriers. Get the same great service plus the knowledge that your money's supporting the values that made America great and will again. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Use the offer code Dan to get free activation. Special discounts are available for veterans and first responders because you deserve it. Join our movement. Make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/Dan, patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Before I get the piece, you may have seen me looking up to the left. I'm just doing it because my eyes dart all over. I have a little attention deficit issue. I do. But the breaking news, apparently the Queen of England is struggling a little bit health-wise. They're under medical supervision. So that's I wish her well. She's been an icon around the world for a long time. So Queen Elizabeth under medical supervision. We'll see what happens with that. Discussing more on the radio show later if there are any developments. Okay, back to this piece. Is this really the public image the FBI wants? That's the title. Has Jim Comey and Christopher Wray, have they really thought this through, the damage they're doing? I get it that they're there to support a political cause, which is the left. I understand that's what they're doing. But have they thought about the consequences even for the left? Here, I have 4 screenshots from this piece, which Guy can vouch for me. They're pretty long ones, too. It's got to be good, and it is. Bongino.com/newsletter if you want to read it. Here's the first one. So is this Rasmussen poll out? 53% of Americans agreed with this Roger Stone statement that there is a group of politicized thugs at the top of the FBI who are using the FBI as Joe Biden's personal Gestapo. Folks, that's a pretty hot statement right there. 53% of Americans agree with that. That includes, by the way, 25% of Democrats and 70% of Republicans who view the FBI unfavorably. Do you have any idea how horrific those numbers are? Even a quarter of Democrats think the FBI is the personal Gestapo. Again, having been a federal agent with a different entity, the Secret Service, I can't even imagine the impact on our protectees if the people we protect, if if the public at large didn't trust us to do our job. Think about it. Imagine 53% thought that the Secret Service was Biden's personal Gestapo. Joe, you think they've thought this through? What happens when you're the next Republican in office? Trump, DeSantis, whoever it may be, Ted Cruz? You really going to want to be protected by Biden's personal Gestapo?
Ooh.
Who was right? Has anybody thought this through? I don't know if it's just that I used to do this job, that it hits me differently. Here, the piece goes on. This is what I was talking about before with the Hillary stuff and why I started the way I did. Nothing's by accident on the show. The FBI, despite its hand-wringing, its pearl-clutching, they still can't explain away why Jim Comey said no one would seriously prosecute Hillary Clinton for trafficking in classified information over a server everybody knows was hacked. Yet Donald Trump, who's alleged to have classified information, alleged, we don't even know that. We already know he declassified it. Behind a locked door the FBI saw in Mar-a-Lago, no one can explain how Hillary Clinton got off while Donald Trump got a search warrant served on his home. No one. Oh, that's whataboutism. You're damn freaking right it is. Justice is whataboutism. You're supposed to treat people equally. Blind Justin, remember that lady Justice? Blind? Here. Part 2 of the piece. The classified materials on Hillary's server were verified as among our most closely held secrets and were almost certainly accessed by foreign actors. Yet the documents in Trump's basement were reportedly declassified and secured per FBI instructions in a building guarded by the Secret Service. Yet no search warrants ever been served on the Clinton estate. The FBI has been a key player in the creation of our two-tier justice system with its dogged pursuit of Republicans and its willful blindness to Democrat infractions. The Bureau has become the Democrat Party enforcer, and the public recognizes it now. I don't know John Green. I don't know this website very well. But man, you summed it up pretty darn well right there, didn't you? Public sees it. Even 25% of Democrats see it. FBI, Christopher Wray, management. Have you guys thought about any of this? Have you guys thought about any of this? Now you see why, despite the fact that I acknowledge there are many good people that I know. I work with some of them. I don't know if they're retired now or not. This agency serves no good purpose anymore. The agency needs to be disbanded. The funding, like I said, expand the funding. They're not about it. You're not funding law enforcement. You're now funding Democrat Party bar bouncers. It's done. It's done. Public trust is finished. Over half the public doesn't trust you anymore. You blew it. You failed. You failed. You failed. It's just fidelity, bravery, integrity. It's over. All that stuff is done. Used to be TV shows and movies about you. Now you're like a laughing stock. Now it's going to be a comedy act. This piece gets worse. I'm telling you, this is good. They note, can any law enforcement agency be effective when over half the citizens it's charged to serve don't trust it? Are people who don't trust the FBI likely to help it with its mission to investigate crimes? Oh, keep that up. Here now we're starting to dig into, has the FBI thought this through? Here are the material impacts of what happens when the public doesn't trust you. Will the public report crimes to an organization they consider Joe Biden's personal Gestapo? Gee, that's a good question. Maybe Jim Comey and Wray should have thought about that. Will they provide witness testimony in support of arrests made by the Gestapo? Another good question. What about this? If people refuse to cooperate, is it going to take a grand jury subpoena to talk to any potential witnesses? What if people say, I'm asserting my constitutional right to not comment? You have that, folks. What if that becomes the public standard answer to any FBI question at any time? Canvassing for potential witnesses will get rather slow, no? This is not Schadenfreude, folks. Believe me when I tell you, as an agent, it pains me to have to say that to you. There is simply no way we are going to be able to solve bank robberies, terrorism cases, or any of it without witnesses willing to talk to the FBI. Again, that's not my fault. That's your fault. You did this. That is a horrible thing. Witness testimony, I did it. is a key component of any case. You have no witnesses, you've got no case. When you rely on video cameras for everything, why flip people if they don't want to? Who's going to flip? The FBI says, we're going to cut a deal with you with the U.S. Attorney's Office. You know, who's going to trust them? Folks, if they thought any of this through, people are just going to remain silent. Yep, I'll tell you right now, they come to my door, talk to my lawyer, just talk to the lawyer. What do you got? You got a search warrant? Let me see it through the glass. Let me read it. Come on in, guy. I'm just almost expecting it. Come on in, do your thing. Please don't hurt anyone, whatever. Just, rolling on the ground, hands up, your shirt up, whatever. What do you need me to do? Bend over at the waist, hands behind the back. We get it. What do you need me to do? Take what you need to take. I get it. Take what you need to take. Just talk to my lawyer. This is really where we need to be? This gets even worse. Have you thought about this? What'll happen when the FBI's conviction rate when 53% of jurors don't believe the testimony of FBI agents? That sounds like kind of a problem, no? FBI agent who previously, again, we used to watch in movies, be so impressed. Fidelity, bravery, integrity on the stand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth. What's 53% of the jury pool thinking? Oh, FBI? Nah, they're lying. How are you ever going to get a conviction? Do you think this through? Will it be harder to achieve beyond a reasonable doubt when testifying agents are part of Biden's Gestapo? If 6 out of 12 jurors don't trust the FBI, what's the likelihood that 1 out of 12 will refuse to return a guilty verdict? Ladies and gentlemen, especially the liberals who are just figuring this out, all you need is 1, not 6. It has to be unanimous. Numbers ain't looking good. Listen to me. This isn't shout and fraud. This is not good. This is awful. He notes, does a recent Whitmer kidnapping case provide any insight into where jury distrust leads? I think so, don't you? Here's another piece I bet they haven't thought of either. What happens when half the judges in the country don't believe the affidavits the FBI presents to them? Will the issuance of arrest warrants, search warrants, or surveillance authorization be affected? You're damn right it will. Judges are people too. You get a magistrate judge or a judge, you're going up to swear out a warrant. Judge, I swear this is all true. I saw it. Did you? Did you really see it? Tell me more. What do you mean tell you more? Come back with some more evidence. Judge, this is PC. I don't believe it. This is horrible. I can't even imagine operating as a GS 1811 federal agent. Same job classification as the FBI. I can't even imagine operating as an investigator when judges don't believe you, grand juries don't believe you, juries don't believe you, the public doesn't trust you, and witnesses won't talk to you. How are you going to prosecute anything? Please read this piece. Do your best. Spread it around. It's worth your time. It's in the newsletter. It's a sad day, folks. I really never thought we'd get to this point. I blame Obama and the Democrats. Corrupting the FBI, corrupting our military. I got news for you, too, which makes me even sadder. Joe, forgive me. I know this means a lot to you, but the military's next. I mean, people adored the FBI for decades. I mean, there was always some people who were fundamentally distrustful, and it's good to have some, skepticism about everyone. But very few people distrust our military because I know the people who are there, and I know people in my family who are great, who gave their lives for it. But they're corrupting the military too. And the saddest day in America is going to be when people don't trust them either.
Hate to say I agree with you.
That's next. I know you do because it's personal to you. Because you've got good people just like you've got in the FBI looking up at the top going, what are you doing to us, man? What are you doing to us? This is what we signed up for.
Yep.
Signed up to defend America, not to defend critical racism training. So freaking sad, man. All right, take a little bit of a break before we get to the next topic. By the way, the Democrat media, symbiote, if the media would have just called attention to this early, the FBI's problems dealing with Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, the Whitmer case, all of this, maybe we'd have some reforms at the FBI. But the media likes it because the symbiote wants to make sure that the FBI remains bouncers for the Democrats in the bar of politics. Let me get to my next sponsor, and I'll talk about the stir at the White House. They're just stunned. The White House is stunned something happened. The media actually told the truth about something. Like, oh, we can't have that. Today's show brought to you by Helix. Helix.com/Dan is the website. What's Helix? Well, they make mattresses, and they make the best mattresses I've ever slept on. I have the Midnight Lux. When you get yours, you'll be obsessed with it. It's quick and fun to unbox the mattress. You'll love it. You won't believe how well you'll sleep. I adore mine. You'll wake up feeling rested and refreshed. Here's how they do it. They have a quick quiz. It matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. You know, you go to these mattress stores, they forget to ask you all kinds of questions. You're not going to have that problem with the quiz. Everybody's unique. Helix knows it, so they have several different mattress models to choose from. The mattresses come right to your door, shipped for free. You don't ever have to go to a mattress store again. Here's the website, Helix. Helix is Helix. Helix. HelixSleep.com/Dan. They have a 10-year warranty. You get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it. You will. Helix has financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. I really do love my mattress. For a limited time, Helix is offering up to $350 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows, too, for listeners to this program. It's a great deal. It's your best offer yet. Hurry on over to HelixSleep.com/Dan. That's HelixSleep.com/Dan. Go today. You'll thank me for it later. It's a great mattress. Good sleep, man. Change your life. So the Dem media symbiote, it's taken as a given. It's a protection racket for the left. Now, the country would be a far different place. I covered this yesterday, but it's important to reiterate this over and over. The country would be a far different place if we had an independent media committed to telling you the truth. The FBI would be pressured to reform. You would know the truth about vaccines, about masks. It goes on and on and on. You know the truth about Hunter Biden. They can't tell the truth. The Democrats lie, and they continue to lie like Hillary Clinton did in the beginning of the show, blatantly lied about trafficking classified information. That's just a documented lie because she knows no one in the media will tell the truth. It's gaslighting. Lie often, lie confidently, and then isolate people from the truth. You understand the Democrats gaslight, but the media is component 4. They isolate people from the truth. They don't tell you the real story. They hide it. They squirrel it away. The White House is freaking out about this. There's a Newsbuster story. Be in the newsletter again today if you want to check it out. Politico reports that the White House is angry at CNN over negative coverage of Biden's Red speech. You know, the Red Menace speech where he abused the United States Marine Corps, putting 2 Marines behind him to give a speech about how you're all fascists and how he's going to use the government to basically crush you with a wink and a nod. Folks, the speech was panned by people on the left and right. Why? Because it was awful and it was dangerous. There has not been a speech in modern presidential history given that vitriolic and hostile to 50% of America. You may say, oh, Dan, what about the Marines? Like they've used military as a backdrop in the past, military officers and enlisted men. Yeah, point stipulated. You are correct. They have. Trump, Obama, Bush Senior, Reagan. You just put military backdrop presidents. There's thousands of them. So Dan, what's the difference? He used 2 Marines. Never for a speech like that. A speech meant to intimidate 50% of the country. There's an article in the Journal, forgive me for not putting it in today, but Dan Henninger has it up. There's an article in the Journal today about, you better damn well pay attention to what Biden said. That speech was a hint to the IRS, the FBI, and everyone else that you'll be protected by Biden if you go after the enemies of the state, 50% of America. He calls them MAGA Republicans. Make no mistake, Henninger's dead serious. Don't gaff it off as the rantings of a senile old man. That speech was given for a reason. And now they're mad because their protection racket broke. Even people at the goon squad at CNN said, this may not be such a good idea. Why are they doing that? Because nobody watches CNN. They're trying to make some money by trying to move more towards the center. It's nothing to do with principles. Believe me, the people are trying to keep their jobs. Breonna Keeler and others, they don't really believe any of this. They're leftist hacks. The new CEO over there running CNN is trying to move it to the center to get some viewers back because the station sucks. You understand again how the world would be completely different if media people just told the truth? If the media en masse came out tomorrow, MSNBC, NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, Vice, all these leftist outlets, Netroots, whatever, Mother Jones, and said, listen, we still love Democrats, we love liberalism, but this speech was a really dangerous new way forward that we don't like. I'm telling you, it would change the Biden administration's approach going forward, weaponizing government. They won't do it because the left loves weaponizing government. And the White House is now bothered by it. Proving again, like, if we just had honest brokers out there telling the truth, the world would be a totally different place. It would be verboten a weaponized government. We would also learn from our mistakes in the past. Do you notice we never do that? We are repeating. I think I'm going to cover this on my Fox show Saturday night. Don't miss it. I got a really cool guest lineup too. And I got my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a mentor who I look at online a lot. Henry Gracie's back. You know that kidnapping case in Memphis? He's going to show you how to not get kidnapped. Please watch it. Please. It may save someone's life. Unfiltered, 9:00 Saturday night. Sorry for throwing that in there. But one of the things and one of the components of the show we're thinking about putting in there is we're in this cycle of stupid because the media doesn't tell people the thing you did last was stupid. Here's what I mean. Look at this story in Axios today. It's like, I wrote this, I'm not even kidding. Holy, what could go wrong? Axios, Emily Peck. Why zero down mortgages are gaining ground? You're like, this can't, wait, what? Now, Guy may be a little young to remember the full thing. Joe and I remember the mortgage meltdown. We remember pretty good. You're like, this can't possibly be an article from 2022. Today's September 8th, correct? Yes, it is. September 8th, 2022. Zero down mortgages. We're doing this again? Emily Peck notes, you can expect more banks to start offering mortgages that don't require some first-time buyers to save up a large down payment. Joe, I mean, really, what could possibly happen? It's part of an effort. Listen to the reason. This gets even better. It's part of an effort to close the racial and ethnic homeownership gap, which is a big piece of the racial wealth gap. Holy Moses. Do you understand that they said the exact same thing in 2004, 2005, 2006? Listen, man, we remember all those Barney Fife, what's his name? Barney Frank. Remember him? The liberal Democrat congressman? Remember all those clips of him talking about this exact same thing? Hey, listen, we got to be racist and lend people money based on skin color. We do. What if they can't pay it back? We'll deal with that later. Oh, we dealt with it.
Yeah, Fannie Mae, Annie Mae.
What is that? Never heard of it. Fannie Mae, never heard of it.
I don't know what the heck it is.
Fannie Lou, Fannie Mae Lou. Yeah, never heard of it. Yeah. I mean, they just, nearly collapsed. Nearly took the world economy with it. You remember that thing, Joe? The Great Recession? You remember that? Did you go through that at all?
Yeah, I can remember.
You remember vaguely?
Yeah. At the back of my mind.
Kind of me too. Yeah, back of my mind too. My neighbors getting laid off, houses getting foreclosed on. So yeah. But this isn't about, even though I'm going to kind of double down on this isn't about the housing crisis and the housing crisis that's about to happen when they do this again. This again is a story about the media. They don't call out Hillary Clinton. They don't call out the FBI. They vaguely call out the Biden administration, and the Biden administration erupts. If the media told the truth, this would be laughed at right now. You'd be like, what are you, insane? We did this already. You doubt me? Folks, receipts matter. Look at the date on this article. June 20th, 2005. So this is right before, about a year and a half or so before people start sniffing around that we got a really bad housing bubble developing, right? 2005, not 2015, 2005. Here's Greg Ip, he does some pretty good stuff. He's some interesting podcast commentary. This is an article in the Wall Street Journal. Booming local housing markets weigh heavily on the overall sector. I want you to read this. New federal housing data shows that the nation's most overheated local housing markets now make up such a large share of the total U.S. market that a sharp fall in their values could stall or slow national economic growth. Oh, really? Really? That sounds like a warning. Kind of sounds like what's happening now. Big housing run up in big national markets, making up a large share of the market. And then what do? Corrupt your loan books by loaning money to people based on skin color and ethnicity who possibly can't pay it back. Sounds like that happened before. Where's the media screaming on the front page of the New York Times and the Washington Post? Stop. We did this before. The answer is nowhere because we don't have a media. They're Democrat Party propagandists who want to appeal to the CRT-loving racist crowd and want to make national decisions based on the melanin component of your skin, even giving people money who may never pay it back. They don't care. Do you understand? Do you understand to put this block together? I kid you not, took me 15 minutes. That's it. This block took 15 minutes. Every element in this. To find that Wall Street Journal piece took me probably less than 2. You think I'm the only one who knows this? That we're doing the exact same thing? Here's a 2015 piece by Fox about a study. The housing collapse that happened after we did what we're doing now was steeper than during the Great Depression. Here's the study. The bleak prediction comes after he released a report estimating that since the housing collapse began from the peak of 2006, right after the piece wrote by Greg Ip in 2005, by the way, prices have fallen 33%, more than the 31% dive recorded during the Great Depression. The data underscores the trouble the U.S. economy is having emerging from what's described as the worst recession since the Great Depression. The sharp fall in house prices in the first quarter provided further confirmation that this housing crash has been larger and faster than the one during the Great Depression, the analysis said. Play it again, Sam. Let's just do it again. We have the single dumbest voters on the liberal side of the block and their media lemmings I have ever seen. I simply can't believe you are repeating the exact same thing you did just in my lifetime. Just in my lifetime. It's a little over a decade ago and expecting a different result. It's like the banging the head on the desk thing. It's just stunning. All right, let me get to some good news, get to my last sponsor, and then Karine Jean-Pierre getting, again, cold busted on one of the most important lawsuits going on right now for you and your God-given rights. It's important. First, reclaim the net. You know, I'm proud to be an investor in Rumble. I hate bothering you about this stuff, but folks, building the parallel economy is not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. The left is not going to stop until they censor or have all of us imprisoned. You heard Biden's speech. He was not kidding. Rumble is a big part of that. They are the free speech video alternative to YouTube. We offer cloud services. We offer payment services. Reclaim the net. Rumble sets a new record of 78 million monthly active users. Folks, read the piece in the newsletter. Congratulations to the Rumble team. That, folks, 78 million monthly active users. That's for real. And if I may make one more pitch, if you'll forgive me for a moment, paralleleconomy.com. That is our payment processor. It has exploded too. Get away from Stripe as soon as you can. It's not a matter of if you're going to get canceled by payment processors. It's when, especially if you're a conservative. Paralleleconomy.com. We can do it for you. We're a free speech alternative, so we appreciate it. It's happening, folks. The parallel economy is exploding. All right, as I said, coming up, Karine Jean-Pierre trying to defend one of the most important lawsuits you are going to see. And then just, I'm going to say, watch her panic on this thing. All right. Today's show also brought to you by X Chair. I'm sitting in one now. You always see me rolling back and forth, and it's the king of chairs. From the minute you sit down in an X Chair, your body immediately feels the difference. Within the family of X Chair models, the X Chair is the creme de la creme. These babies have all the bells and whistles. They got the massage feature, the heat feature, the cooling feature. It's just 3 buttons right here in the back. Listen, here's the most important part, though. It's a good-looking chair, but it's comfortable. I'm in this for a long time. I do the podcast, I do the radio show, I do my Fox show. Sometimes me and Guy are in this office, like 12 hours on Friday? It's a lot. You got to maximize your comfort and productivity. Get an X Chair. For a very limited time, X Chair is offering a Labor Day sale that could save you $600 off the price of the top of the line X Tech chairs and get a free X HMT massage insert. Great deal. You got to hurry though, because the unprecedented sale ends September 12th. Trust me, you're going to kick yourself if you miss this amazing opportunity to save big bucks off the finest office chairs in the world. No doubt. Now X Chair works for you. X Chair Labor Day sale. The Labor Day sale's on right now, but it ends September 12th, so do not wait. Get $600 off all X Tech models plus a free X HMT. How do you get it? Here's the website. xchairbongino.com. That's Bongino. xchairbongino.com. That's the letter X, chairbongino.com. xchairbongino.com. Check it out. You're going to love it. I'm sitting in one right now. Okay. So here's what thanks, X Chair. Here's what I was talking about with Karine Jean-Pierre. So there are a number of people, attorneys general and others, private actors. Berenson was one of them before, and others in the journalism space, the Barrington Declaration folks, who are suing the federal government. They're suing the federal government saying, we want your emails. Because if you told private companies to censor what you didn't like about COVID information, then we got a real problem. So the discovery phase proceeded. What I always tell you about these lawsuits, Joe, once you get past discovery, let me tell you something. You're 99% of the way there.
Yeah.
Because once you're allowed to look behind put the camel under the government tent, I promise you're going to find something. Reminds me of World War Z. When Brad Pitt's on the plane, they're headed over to Korea with that scientist. And he said, we going to find something? He goes, oh, yeah, we're going to find something. Trust me, they're going to find something. Watch KJP try to dodge and ditch. She knows they're in a world of trouble with this. Check this out.
What are those emails going to show? What kind of communication?
So I can't comment. You've asked me this question last week. I can't comment on any specifically ongoing litigation. And so, again, we would refer you to Department of Justice. A couple of things that I would say on just as a general matter on this. As we've said over and over again since the beginning of the administration in our battle against COVID-19, it has been critical for the American people to have access to factual, accurate, science-based information, and ensuring that any media platforms have access to latest information on a once-in-a-generation pandemic is something that has been done since the earliest days of the pandemic.
This is hilarious. Did you catch it? They're being sued for pushing private tech companies, social media companies, to censor people for COVID misinformation. I was one of them. We'll get to that in a second. Here's the catch. Did you hear what she said, Joe? Oh, we're just trying to get out science-based information. You were wrong about everything. The science-based information were the people you were trying to censor. You were wrong about masks. You were wrong about where the virus originated. You were wrong about China's role. You were wrong about vaccines. You were wrong about cloth masks, surgical masks. You were wrong about social distancing. You were wrong about school closings. You were wrong about everything. The science was never on your side. Government has been lying to you from the start. And the media has covered for them by isolating you from the truth, pushing censorship. Just a news article by Piper. Read this. Feds are reeling from a new vaccine study and lawsuits on social media censorship and COVID stat manipulation. Folks, I don't want to go into the whole thing, but there's this new study out about the vaccine. It reported sensory symptoms compromising severe face and or limb parathesis, while 61% had orthostasis, heat intolerance, and palpitations. More than half had objective evidence of small fiber peripheral neuropathy. This is in a preprint by the National Institutes of Health, along with colleagues at Harvard, Hopkins, and Icahn School of Medicine within a month of COVID vaccination. Maybe if we would have known this before, but don't worry, Karine Jean-Pierre says they were on the side of the science. I was censored. I want to know what the government's role is. You know, it's funny. This guy, Colin Moynihan, in this New York Mag piece did me such an enormous favor. You have no idea. It's a piece about the cat lady and her partner, two weirdos. It's from September 1st. But this one block in here, I want you to pay close attention to. Early this year, he notes, Bongino, as in me, was banned from YouTube after violating its COVID misinformation policy. By posting videos saying cloth and surgical masks were useless in stopping the spread of the coronavirus. That's right. I've been proven correct. It's funny because a bunch of liberals on social media now realizing that I was banned from YouTube for telling you the truth. They're starting to realize, number one, Dan was right. And number two, they're starting to realize we may be in a little bit of trouble because when I get to Discovery, I want to see who was emailing who about me. I want to see what the cat lady was doing. Was that involving the government? Was the White House involved? Apparently, there was a network of people they wanted banned. We have the second largest conservative podcast on the planet. Was I on that list? Let's see what happens when we get to Discovery. This guy, Colin, you did me a huge favor. I'll tell you, let me let you know a little trick here, little Colin. And the cat lady should know this too. That's not why I was banned from YouTube. It's not. I wonder how he knows that. I guess we'll see, won't we? That's not why I was banned. Interesting how they came to that conclusion. All right, just one more quick story. I'm not going to be able to get to the whole thing, but Axios, jump to that Axios piece. I just can't get over this. Again, if we just had a media that told the truth, how Europe and the United States right now is undergoing right now an active suicide plan to make sure we all die from a lack of energy. Heat in the winter and cooling systems in the summer. We're killing ourselves. We're killing ourselves. We're like, no, we're going to go green energy. Yeah, but we don't have green energy technology to do it. Doesn't matter. Do it anyway. Yeah, but we don't have it. That's okay. We'll all starve. Oh, okay. So I read this piece in Axios. RIP, Europe's energy system. Rest in peace. Listen to this. I want you to listen to the opening words. So Europe thought it would be a good idea to decommission nuclear plants and move towards a green energy future. It doesn't exist. We don't have battery power to operate planet Earth for less than a minute. That's it. Less than a minute. The combined battery power of the entire Earth. So there is no green energy future. It doesn't exist. It's like operating the DeLorean in the Back to the Future series on what is that thing called? The flux capacitor or whatever. It doesn't exist. You want us to transfer to an energy system that doesn't exist. Listen to how Matt Phillips at Axios, showing you again how crazy the media describes this. Transferring to an energy system that doesn't exist, he describes as an unimaginable scenario. In what would have been an unimaginable scenario just a few months ago, Russia has halted all natural gas flows to Europe through its Nord Stream pipeline, plunging the continent into a new era of uncertainty that's reverberating across markets. What? Europe. We're going to go to green energy. There is no green energy. Okay, in the meantime, we're not going to develop our own natural gas and oil assets or import them or build LNG facilities. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get it from Russia. Yeah, Russia's led by a crazy person. Oh, it's okay. The media says it's fine, and so do the libs. Oh, okay. Crazy person in Russia, Putin says, we're not giving you any more energy. Europe's like, this is unimaginable. What would have Joe, unimaginable. This is what happens when you're isolated from the truth. Was it unimaginable? Let me show you again. Donald Trump was right again. Here's Donald Trump imagining the unimaginable at the United Nations, telling Europe and specifically Germany exactly what was going to happen. Yet Matt Phillips, who conveniently leaves that out of the piece about how this is an unimaginable scenario, leaving out that Donald Trump imagined it exactly as it happened. Take a listen to this.
Reliance on a single foreign supplier can leave a nation vulnerable to extortion and intimidation. That is why we congratulate European states such as Poland for leading the construction of a Baltic pipeline so that nations are not dependent on Russia to meet their energy needs. Germany will become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are committed to maintaining our independence from the encroachment of expansionist foreign powers. It has been the formal policy of our country since President Monroe that we reject the interference of foreign nations in this hemisphere and in our own affairs.
Unimaginable, huh?
Yeah.
Described perfectly by Donald Trump years ago. And Guy brings up a good point. See the German swamp bureaucrats laughing? They think that's hilarious. It's not so funny now, is it?
I know nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, Sergeant Schultz called it too. He imagined it a long time ago. He imagined the know-nothings there laughing. All right, folks, we got to run. Thank you for tuning in today. Please check out the radio show later. I hope you enjoyed the show. Questions for tomorrow. Go to my Locals account, download the Locals app. I'm at Bongino. There'll be a post up. It says questions for tomorrow's show. I'll also put it on True Social. Give me a follow. I'm at Bongino. And please, again, check us out, paralleleconomy.com for your payment processing online. We would sincerely appreciate your business. We believe in the free speech economy. It's happening right now. Thanks, folks. See you all later.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show.